All right, Late Night Lake Show. We back. It's Kwame. It's Ricky. It's the Los Angeles Clippers somehow finding themselves at the center of yet another scandal. And honestly, as funny as the Donald Sterling one was, it was equally at the same time racist and a lot of other obias with how he conducted himself, not just with his bunny or whatever he called that girl, but just how he conducted himself around other grown men with no clothes on. So this one, on the other hand, there's no reason not to laugh. They're just, the jokes write themselves. Donald Sterling, well, let me not talk about that. Pablo Torre reported on Pablo Finds Out that the Clippers set up a network of off-book payments to Kawhi Leonard. The New York Times is confirming that the NBA hired an outside law firm to investigate, but essentially Pablo dropped the bomb last week that, hey, Kawhi's been getting paid under the table for endorsing or having a sponsorship deal with this tree donation planting company that hasn't planted a damn tree since they started up. And oh yeah, the CEO just pled guilty for fraud and scamming a bunch of people out of a bunch of money. But who cares about those facts? The thing that matters right now, right here, is how Kawhi Leonard just continues to get paid for doing nothing. Kwame, I'll open up the books here. I have never in my life seen anybody get after it as well as Kawhi Leonard. People might call me Tommy from Martin. That's the Tommy from Martin. He ain't got no job. He's to get and drive up from San Diego whenever he feels like it to attend Clippers basketball games. Your thoughts on the Pablo Torre article bomb?
You know what's funny? I can't even say that I was surprised. Like when the news came out, it really just felt like, that sounds about right. Like let's take a look at this. Let's scale out a little bit. Let's take a macro look at everything that's going on here. So we think 2019, right? Raptors come off an NBA championship, finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard gets it done. Second player ever? First player, I believe, to go East-West and win a finals MVP in both. LeBron James, I think it was second after 2020. But I believe Kawhi Leonard was the first to do it East-West, two different teams, whatever. Did it in his first year. Like, there's a lot of crazy things that went on with that Raptors team. When have we ever heard of a finals MVP winning his first year with the team and immediately bouncing? Like, the Raptors could have offered him more because he was their player. Obviously, you get it. It's Canada. It may not be as simple. He wanted to go home. You can spin that narrative however you want. Yeah. But there had to be a way for him to recoup his money. And I think this is one of those ways where he recouped some of that bread that was lost from sticking around in Toronto and leaving that money on the table. It wasn't just, come home and, you get to be home. Like, sure, that's okay, draw. But again, you're an NBA player. You're a multi-millionaire. You can live wherever you want, however you want for the most part. Obviously, in season, you kind of got to be in market, but outside of that, you can do as you please. I think this is definitely one of those ways, and I think it again expands a larger question as to, is this something that has been done before? Is this something that may continue to happen? Because the cap space is there. The cap limits are there. Every team can only spend the same amount of money for competitive reasons in the NBA. If you don't let that happen, the moment you open up the floodgates, they're calling the Saudi oil princes, and they're going to start investing in these NBA teams, and they're just going to be able to fund so much. So you have to have some sort of rules that are across the board. So I understand the salary cap. This instance seems particularly obvious. We heard the stories of Uncle Dennis trying to call the shots, trying to figure out what he needs. He needs this jet. He needs this vacation home. Uncle Dennis has said, I'm getting something out of this too. And again, this just feels like it falls in place. You're getting $28 million to do nothing? Feels like a very clever way to lure a player. Again, you also think in the exact same town, you have a team with LeBron James, freshly traded Anthony Davis, ready to accept Kawhi with open arms. We had a 4th of Kawhi party.
We did.
Rick, if you remember, we had a 4th of Kawhi party. Shaking tail, hoping that Kawhi Leonard would show up on our team. Yeah. And he chose in the wee hours of a random night later that week. I don't even remember the specific day, but in the wee hours, it was like literally like 2 a.m. chose to go with the Los Angeles Clippers. Like, I remember we racked our brains for a long time. Why did he choose that? You could say because Paul George was coming, because he didn't want to add to LeBron's legacy. He'd rather add dudes.
Right.
You
That
could
was
say
the
a
big one
million
that
things.
they said.
You know what would also sway a person? $28 million to do nothing. That would sway a player to 28 million smackers that is outside of your contract that you are getting, and the only stipulation is you just have to play for the Clippers or not retire? What? To cash in? Lemon squeezy, you ask me. Even LeBron probably low-key knew. Remember that, what was it? I think it was maybe, I don't know if it's training camp or some sort of media event before the season, and they're asking him, why didn't Kawhi choose? He said, I don't know, ask Kawhi. They should have asked him. He would have said, I'm making 4 years, $28 million to do nothing. Because they're going to plant some trees or something, say something, and I'll make some money. So yeah, I think it's very convenient. I think it's very interesting. I thought it was hilarious that Pablo Torre even called it out. He said one thing, he even tweeted this. He said, one thing I've been wondering about this is the NBA officially announces its investigation. The scope of our aspiration investigation continues to crystallize. When is Steve Ballmer going to try and appeal to public sympathy in a sit-down interview? And literally later that day, it was announced he's sitting down with Ramona Shelburne to talk about what's happening in the Clippers situation. Hook, line, and sinker, the whole thing. The billionaire pleading for, public sympathy that, hey, NBA, we're going to do our best to join in on this investigation and we want to be open. But if anything's found, just know I was unaware of it and I had no hand in this, and I adamantly would agree to that, and I'd hope other owners and the public will support me and understand that I had no hand in this. Yeah, we know. But at the end of the day, they find out this man really got paid all this bread outside of the cap space, and you had any hand in it. It's gonna get nasty. So to be honest, I think it's kind of funny. I'm okay with it. I'm curious what the NBA does. And honestly, I'll kind of throw that question back to you after getting your thoughts on this. But, what are your own thoughts on the Clippers, completely just misconduct, man? Is that franchise cooked? Like, are they just cursed with misconduct? And then what do you think the NBA should do? And what do you think the future of preventing this stuff looks like?
It's going to be tough, man. I think it's one of those situations, and I'll answer the second part first. And I only have jokes for the first part. Like this shit's it's comedy to me. But the larger piece of this is what happens when you find out your wife is not cheating on you, but is cheating on her taxes, is cheating at work, is doing something that shouldn't be happening, but that's your wife. That's how I look at this with owners, billionaire owners at the level, that Steve Ballmer is, and there's only a handful, we know. But what happens when they're worth as much or if more than half your franchises, than all your franchises? His connections are the league's connections. His friends might even be tighter with the people who's pulling the strings at ESPN, right? So what do you do if you're folks like the NBA and Adam Silver, networks like ESPN, NBC, right? Turner Broadcasting Network, who just lost a little piece, right? How do you cover something like this when you look over and that's your golf buddy over there that's being accused of these crimes? How does that get covered? And I think one of the big things that we saw is the lack of immediacy by Shams. Shams, whoa, hey, big breaking news guy. We didn't hear from you until we saw the official statement from the Clippers. Maybe we heard from you when we heard what the NBA said, is that, hey, we heard these allegations and we are looking into it. But hey, for you not to be into the rumor stuff, aren't you the rumor guy? Aren't you the big newsbreaker, Shams? And I understand, man, he's got to play by the rules that he is given by his superiors. But as people who with no affiliation, and we're just, U.S. citizens watching the BS be spoon-fed to us on a daily basis, no matter what the medium is, this one kind of doesn't pass the smell test as to why we're getting such delayed reactions from important people that should be irate by this. So appreciate the New York Times, reporting that the NBA saying that they are hiring the same law firm that looked into the Donald Sterling situation. They just got the Clippers file just off to the side, just ready in case the next dumbass thing pops up. But yeah, man, it's to take my hater glasses off, this still smells that, I'm sorry, a top 10 richest man in the world was conned by a tree donation planting company. Got it. Don't work for me, bro. It does not pass the smell test.
Very good point. It's a very good point. And Wow. Honestly, I never put the connections together about like Shams not reporting it immediately, not really hearing a lot of other people really talk about it until the NBA announced they will be doing their formal investigation. It even makes a point where you talk about how did Ballmer land that interview immediately with ESPN to sit down and clear his name?
Hello.
You're right.
Yep.
Again, he picked up the phone.
3:45.
Yep. Like when you really think about it, it makes sense. The rich people are powerful, man. These are billionaires we're talking about. You're telling me they can't pick up a phone and make something happen? And like you said, it's a great point. You think a tree planting organization that just, got booked for fraud has like conned a top 10 richest man in the world into, and again, what inspiration would they need to pay Kawhi Leonard to play for a basketball team they have no stake in, quote unquote? Like the math ain't math and they ain't adding up. What's the incentive for this
they
group
act like
just
this
to
man
say we just want Kawhi at home?
Every three.
You know what I'm saying? Like
none of those dots connect. To your point, Kwame, and that's a great one. Kawhi's not the personality that you just giving $28 million to do nothing, bro. Nobody talks about Kawhi unless he's actually playing. That's not the type of player that I necessarily really want to give $28 million to. But let them tell it. Ballmer didn't know. Kawhi was getting them direct checks. What due diligence did they play in just vetting out this tree planting service, bro? And also, you know what it's telling me, Kwame?
What's it telling you?
We are living the wrong lives. We are absolutely living too honorably out here in these streets. I need to have a BlackRock level scheme of making millions in these next 6 months. It's possible. You can bullshit your way to the top. What was the Lakers' main thing about getting superstars after being bad? Failing forward, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to start falling forward more and purposely just tripping over ourselves. You trip. You only trip going forward, I guess.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's a lie or not, but you don't trip. I mean, yes, you can trip falling back, but I can't trip if I'm leaning forward. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think? What do you think the cause of this is? Because like when I really sit back and think about it, he denied to be a part of the of Lakers exceptionalism. The brand, they control the city. He's a LA quote unquote LA native. He knows what the Lakers are. Imagine to be able to pry this player who we had a prime parking spot ready for him to choose the neighboring team out of nowhere, came out the woodworks in the night. They were scheming, bro, and this was just one of those many schemes, and you can't convince me otherwise. Like, to be honest, him not choosing neither the Lakers or the Raptors, who he just won a championship with, to choose neither of those destinations, there had to be some level of incentive that was given to him. And again, we were told that it was Kawhi doesn't want to join LeBron. He doesn't want to be second fiddle. He wants to beat LeBron. That's all, it was all Laker fans. They think they get whatever they want. Nobody wants to play with those guys. We were spun these narratives. But like I said, at the end of the day, when somebody's holding 28 million smackers in front of your face, they pull open the briefcase and you see nothing but bills. That make a man do a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would revoke my Lakers card, and I just got that joint, but I would revoke my Lakers card in a minute for 28 M's. Like, sorry, I'll be a fan of whoever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, money talks, and it was talking to Kawhi, because we don't know what else he talks, maybe in boops and bops, but he ain't talking too much. But that 28 million was making him sing.
Last point on this to me felt like more greed from Kawhi's side than anything else.
Definitely.
You've already outlined the most money was up in Toronto. The biggest legacy was attaching your name to the Los Angeles Lakers. You're a competitor. Beat LeBron, join LeBron. Totally get it. Beat LeBron, join franchise that has a history of not achieving anything. Okay, if it's back in your hometown, okay. Now, what if it's back in your hometown and they can pick you up on the back end with a few deals and the houses are already paid for? And Jeannie already told Uncle Dennis that she's not comfortable talking about ownership percentage splits at this point in time. Why not go to the richest man in sports, in American sports, and say, hey, I'll sign for this. This team needs to get better quickly. You need to bring in another guy like Paul George. And by the way, I need my bloodline generationally wealthy, not off of basketball contracts from here on out. I need them set today with houses and salaries that if I never dribble this ball again and my legs and knee cartilage is turkey wing cut, they're straight. And that is exactly what was set up for them, if this is proven to be true. Because they already talked about Kawhi lives in San Diego. He plays not for the San Diego Clippers. There have been reports on how late he gets to team flights, right? Yeah, sure. Superstar privilege. I get it. Kobe used to take choppers, everywhere. RIP to the GOAT. But Kawhi is very much so, I want to be comfortable over here. You need to make that happen. And then I need to be filthy rich for me to come and play for a basketball team that has zero history of any type of success besides the Lob City Clippers. Uncle Dennis, this one's on you, bro. Yeah. Kawhi, this is on you, big dog. If I'm Steve Ballmer, bro, hey, this money's toilet paper. Fuck you talking about. This league is toilet paper. I built Microsoft, bitch. Fuck is the NBA gonna say to that? I built Microsoft, okay? So if I need to dance around the edges, do a little things behind closed doors, like I just said earlier, these boys are my kids' swim instructors and equestrian instructors. Fuck, I gotta worry about issues. What's the fine? Margaret? Yeah, guest bedroom? No, the other one. Yep, coin purse? Yeah, they said 30 million. Yeah, just get it out. Yeah, just get it out. Nah, don't even count it. Just bring 2 of them. That's where Steve Ballmer's at in life. So if I'm him, fine, fuck it. I need Kawhi here now. I need the best team here now. I'm not here trying to rebuild, do this, do that. What's this guy's name, this Canadian's name? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Yeah, take him to Oklahoma City. I don't believe in it. That's what, I understand Steve Ballmer's perspective. Now, was it wrong? Yes, you see proof is in the pudding, right? MVP, right. SGA. This is just the deal that you guys make when you try to do stuff behind closed doors and in the shadows. What's the line? Everything done in the dark is going to come to the light. Pablo Torre is just the guy with the flashlight right now.
Snaps for that. One final point before we move on. What do you think is the absolute worst thing that could come about this in terms of punishment by the NBA? Do you think they'll do anything?
I think the NBA will punish the Clippers, yes, if they find the concrete evidence of wrongdoing. You also, I hate to just keep coming back to this. You even see like guys like Mark Cuban immediately come on and say, oh, I think he just got duped. I think he just got a bad deal. So my odds that there's any fine is lower than my expectation that nothing comes out of this. And so that's one. If there is, right, they have no choice but to lay down a punishment that is on par with previous ones, right? So there's the Joe Johnson scandal that came down, but that was more so an agent airing out all the dirty laundry and stuff like that. The Donald Sterling punishment, right? There was a loss of several picks. It would have to be something like that. You lose 5 first-round picks. There's banned for a year, and I hate ownership bans. It's so stupid. What does that mean? What, he can't go to the fundraiser event and speak for 20 minutes? Get out of here. So it'll be something like that. Loss of picks. I think Kawhi's bird rights would be taken away. He's actually going into unrestricted free agency 2027. So what his next contract's going to look like is going to be muy interesante to me. I'd like an investigation on James Harden contract too, and Ivica Zubac's been taking pay cuts as well since we're just looking at the Clippers books. But I don't necessarily think anything besides this fun that we're having is going to come out of this too much. But if it does, I want him at the gallows. I want him at the gallows.
I like
it.
What
about you, bro?
I think I'm right there with you, to be honest. I wouldn't be shocked if the NBA did nothing. To be honest, Adam Silver isn't known to be one who carries a heavy hand and a mallet in the other. Like, if this was David Stern, they should be shaking in their boots. You know what I'm saying? David Stern did not play that stuff. But this is Adam Silver. He's the nice guy. He's a path of enlightenment, Buddha-style thinkings, So a part of me feels like nothing would happen, but if they do start cracking down, they got to start cracking down everywhere. Like I said, Kawhi, we're going to need that 28 M's back, so your next deal chopped. Ballmer, you won't see a pick till you sell. I need them to bring the hammer, because if they don't, all it's going to do is enable further ownership groups and owners who have deep, deep pockets to continue to find ways to circumvent the cap and get the players that they need. And so the NBA has an opportunity to nip this in the bud now, but if they don't, all they're going to do is open the floodgates. So ultimately, the choice is yours, Adam. Let us know what you're going to do.
You got to choose, brother. Also, Adam may not want that smoke, because if he tries to make the richest owner in the league the example, Ballmer could easily just start opening skeletons out the doors, and which is why I think this is probably going to get handled in a matter that we don't know the full details of.
That's fair.
But, I'm sure it'll be settled over golf and very expensive bourbon.